Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right. What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive face first right into the mess, right? So I'm a little ticked off, so I'm gonna try to do this video with as much professionalism as I can because I'm really sick of how our people treat one another. Now, guys, if you don't know, Eddie Murphy returned to SNL, right, after quite some time. And upon his return, he came straight out the gates and took shots at Bill Cosby. I'm not a fan of that at all. I thought it was a low blow. I thought it was ignorant, disrespectful, and downright deplorable in my opinion. Now, a rep of Bill Cosby's by the name of Andrew Wyatt came to Bill Cosby's defense and he dragged Eddie Murphy. So before I get to the actual clip of Eddie Murphy being disrespectful to the 10th power towards Bill Cosby, let's take a look at a little bit of history between the two. And I'm going to read to you what Eddie Murphy had to say about how Bill Cosby treated him back in the day. All right, and it states, Murphy was just brutally honest about his feelings towards Cosby. He told host Jerry Seinfeld that Cosby often lectured him about his disdain for profanity, which Murphy used during his acts. Cosby also allegedly tried to dictate what topics Murphy could discuss on stage. Eddie Murphy and Bill Cosby have a history of not getting along. Murphy and Cosby have had tension for years. According to Murphy, their issue started when he says Cosby was critical of his comedy style. In his 1987 comedy special Raw, Murphy recalled being scolded by Cosby for using profanity in his performances. I sat and listened to this man chastise me, he said. When Bill Cosby chastises you, you forget you are grown and you feel like one of the kids of The Cosby Show. He spoke about the incident again in his 2019 episode of the Netflix series Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. It was mean, he said. He told me not to talk about how much money I was making and that I should see his shows to learn from him. All right, so when you look at the dynamic of the situation and the rift that took place between Bill and Eddie back in the day, I'm sorry, there has to be something more to this story for Eddie to hit below the belt like he did on this past weekend on SNL.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Murphy! Thank you so much. Thank you. It's great to be back here finally hosting Saturday Night Live for Christmas. And this is the last episode of 2019, but if you're black, this is the first episode since I left back in 1984. It's been a really long time. Here's actually a picture of me back when I first started. Yeah, I look at least 5 years younger there. Well, you know what they always say, money don't crack. So much has changed. I actually just had a new baby just about a year ago. I had a new baby. That means I have 10 kids now. 11 if you count Kevin Hart. No, I'm kidding, I love Kevin Hart. I'm just teasing. My kids are actually pretty much my whole life now. And you know what? But if you had told me 30 years ago that I would be this boring, stay-at-home, house dad, and Bill Cosby would be in jail. Even I would have took that bet. I'll tell you, who is America's dad now?
All right, so Bill Cosby's publicist decided to respond, and this is what he had to say. He said Mr. Cosby became the first black to win an Emmy for his role in I Spy, and Mr. Cosby broke color barriers in the entertainment industry so that blacks like Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart could have an opportunity to showcase their talents for many generations to come. It is sad that Mr. Murphy would take this glorious moment of returning to SNL and make disparaging remarks against Mr. Cosby. One would think that Mr. Murphy was given his freedom to leave the plantation so that he could make his own decisions, but he's decided to sell himself back to being a Hollywood slave. Step and fetch it plus owning. And guys, I'm paraphrasing because I can't say the word, but you know what I'm trying to say when I say owning. Equals the destruction of black men in Hollywood.
So now let me. Oh, I know that. I remember some of it. That's right. They asked me to say.
Remember, Mr. Murphy, that Bill Cosby became legendary because he used comedy to humanize all races, religions, and genders. But your attacking Mr. Cosby helps you embark on just becoming clickbait. Hopefully, you will be amenable to having a meeting of the minds conversation in order to discuss how we can use our collective platforms to enhance black people rather than bringing all of us down together. Alright, so we heard what Eddie had to say in regards to Bill Cosby, and then Bill Cosby's publicist followed up with a response to Eddie Murphy. Now, let's talk about the two sides, right? So first of all, Eddie Murphy is not giving me enough reason for him to go at Bill Cosby in the way that he did. Because when you look at the dynamic of the situation, all Eddie said that Bill Cosby did was treat him like a child in a sense, and basically told him that he had a disdain for his profanity that he used in his comedy skits. Now, granted, we don't know if Bill Cosby said some real harsh things behind the scenes, right? Only Eddie Murphy knows that, and I get that as well. But at the same time, when you look at Eddie Murphy and him being an outspoken man, right? I believe that Eddie would have told the world in detail what Bill Cosby actually said to him. So, in my opinion, I believe that Eddie is just still salty because of the fact that Bill tried to stop him from performing his craft in its totality, right? And in the process of doing so, Bill also kind of demeaned him in a way that made him feel like a child. But still, my position is this, guys. I don't understand how Eddie Murphy can get his goofy looking ass on stage and publicly shame another brother that is already down, while Harvey Weinstein is still running up and down the streets enjoying the fruits of his labor. Instead, if our people can just learn to let some things go amongst one another and look at the big picture, we will be in a better position today. Eddie Murphy, in my estimation, should have took the position to big up Bill Cosby, right? But he's not going to do that, especially not on a network that Bill Cosby tried to purchase. And NBC still has a disdain for Bill Cosby for approaching them to actually buy NBC. So when I was looking at the comments on Twitter about Eddie Murphy and what people within our community thought about his return to SNL, everybody was bigging him up. Yeah, Eddie Murphy is still the king. Yeah, he turned it out. He did his thing. But nobody really was calling him out for actually being a puppet for those Hollywood execs. I mean, come on. He came straight out the gate and threw a shot at Bill Cosby. And then later on in the segment, he's going to play buckwheat. Listen, I'm not sitting here trying to absolve Bill Cosby from anything that he's done wrong. But it seems like it's an attack on our black men and on our black women, right? It seems like it's becoming an epidemic in America is to attack the black man and the black woman. And then they're using other black men and black women to help lead the charge against their own community. And listen, guys, NBC has a real problem. You see what they just did to Gabrielle Union, right? And then you had others like Nick Cannon complaining about how NBC operates. And then to show the disrespect to a man that made NBC so much money, and Bill Cosby with the Cosby Show, to have Eddie Murphy actually come up there and disrespect that man like that, even though they were upset that Bill Cosby tried to purchase NBC, you would think that NBC would have had enough respect to tell Eddie, yo, don't do that. Just leave that out of there. But I believe that they spearheaded this attack on national TV, all right, on SNL this past Saturday night against Bill Cosby. That's just my personal opinion, and it's mad foul. And keeping it all the way 100, NBC only had a problem with Bill Cosby trying to purchase NBC because he's black. Let's be real about it. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go before I say something really foul. and let y'all have at it in the comments. Drop down and let a brother know what you think about this whole entire video. Be sure to give me your true thoughts and assessments. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll get with you in the next video. Peace.